Yo, how's it going, guys? It's your boy Richard L. Raid Caller in the building, and you already know what it is. We got another problem video discussion for you guys. I've been waiting a very long time to make this video. Now, as we say in all of our videos, it's all subjective. I know you guys are already typing already, be like, Richard, you just suck at raids, and you're a bad guild leader. You suck. Yeah, I know, I get it. I am a terrible guild leader, and I do suck at raids. I appreciate that. Not only did I did the nullity, how many times? 50 times. Wait, where is it? I gotta find the badge. Where's the raid badges over here? Defeat the nullity in voracious void raid 50 times. Total 50 nullity defeats. Not only did I got that, but I also got Star-Lord, which is basically collecting 1,000 power stars. A total of 1,002 to be exact. But I've been raiding for a very long time, so I feel like I should have a say in to talk about guilds and raids, right? And obviously, the only raid that I've ever won was the very first one, which was the nullity raid. And that was probably one of my favorites. The main key points I like about that raid is it's a lot more accessible than the other raid, because lately the other raids are requiring dual schooling, requiring very, very heavy cantrip magic and a lot of energy reserves overall, and a very strict, or very, just very strict meta. And I feel like as, we keep getting these spells banned over and over again, it kind of just makes raiding a lot more, like, distasteful. But that's not what we're talking about. We're here to talk about raids and guilds. And obviously, we did try to do a raid yesterday that ended up in a failure. We got 0 wins. I was actually really excited for that roster. I thought that was a really solid roster, but apparently not. A bunch of people were late. As always, a lot of people do have things to do, and that is one of my main gripes with raiding, right? And it's not just this guild only. It's not just exclusive to this guild. It feels like that, especially when you've been doing it for 3 years, but it just gets to the point where it's very obnoxious. You really do want people to arrive on time or as quickly as possible, and people drop out, or people don't show up, or people even forget about the raid roster or date in general. So yeah, and none of the times even work. I have tried Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, none of the days generally work for this guild. We have people from various time zones that have various responsibilities. You also have to put and incorporate schools, working jobs, and spending time with family, including me. I am a family guy, and I try to do Saturday as much as I can, but most of the time I'm literally just carrying my laptop all over the room because I literally have to do everything. Like, literally yesterday we were just cleaning up the kids' toy boxes and stuff like that, and I was wiping the walls down and stuff like that while I was waiting to actually get into the raid, because it took us forever just to grab everybody that was on the roster. We actually had to use an alt account in this. Like, when you have to double box in a raid, for those of you that don't know what double boxing is, when you log into another account, so you're basically playing on 2 accounts. But like, when it gets to that point, then you literally just genuinely do not have enough players to raid, right? And I think the developers really kind of overestimated the amount of players in this game. I just think 12 is just so heavy, man. And I look at this notes that I made a little while back. I mean, this was years ago. It was talking about Ghost Recon, like, Breakpoint, which is a Tom Clancy Ubisoft game that I really like to play, versus Wizard101 raids and the guild. And the first thing I put on for Wizard101 is that if you want to go raiding in the Wizard101, you have to join a guild. It's literally guild locked, because you have to join a guild, you have to go to the battle island, you have to put the key in, and then when you put the key in, you gotta cast magic touch on the raid gate, and then when you get 12 of these little light beams that are activated, then you can finally go into the raid. And Let me just tell you, it might sound easy because I'm making a video telling you how to do it, but let me just say that is probably one of the hardest things I have encountered. Not only in this guild in general, but just overall in general. That is probably the hardest thing to do. That's actually harder than the guild, than the raid itself, right? The raid itself is easy, especially if you're studying the guides and you know about all the streets, you know the mobs and stuff like that. It's really not a difficult raid, but this part of getting 12 people on time, not only that, but casting a magic touch cantrip at this gate on time, that is the most hardest thing in my raid. Now, again, like I said, everything I say is subjective, so you might be in your own raiding little posse where that doesn't happen, right? You might be in your own guild, and that never ever happens because you guys are a lot more coordinated, you guys are more dedicated, you guys have more players, you guys have more resources for that. But for guilds like me, I feel like the resources we had in the beginning, but now it's getting to the point where it's like, well, now it's becoming a resource shredder because we're not getting any wins, and now it's becoming a time shredder as well because I'm wasting about 2 hours or 3 hours or even more just waiting for people to show up, and they don't show up, and then we don't get any wins. So it's like, okay, well, I might as well just go back to doing team-ups like I usually do, right? And I don't want to discourage you guys from doing raids. There are a lot of really good guilds out there that will offer you some help or that are very more dedicated than I am. I just lost all the motivation to even continue, like, doing raids in general, just because that last loss, like, yesterday was just, that was really something that actually really ticked me off to like the point of making this video. And I even posted on the White Sox, you know, the White Sox. I kind of compared the guild to the White Sox, and if you don't know, it's a baseball team and they are notorious for like losing a lot. And I feel like we're just one of the guilds that just, we're probably up there. Like if it was the scoreboard to see how many losses we have, we're probably like at the #1 spot for the most losses out of this entire game, because most guilds don't even try or attempt to do raids, but we have tried multiple times lately and it just does not work. We tried the Azteca raid. I even made a server for that, but I deleted it because nobody, again, wanted to commit to it. You know, we tried the Polaris raid, again, nobody wants to commit to that. And we tried the Dragonspire raid, and again, nobody wants to commit to that, right? It was also on me because I didn't post the outside map. I kind of wish there was an outside guide, because looking for some of these raid guides is kind of like looking for a piece of information for your research paper, and that's like super hard. You have to like go in the library and look for some ancient relic of a book just to find some information about something. So that does tick me off a little bit. A little bit. Just a little bit, you know? But all is love. I saw this one tweet coming in from my depressed Dolphins fan, and this was a really good thread I thought I might share with you guys. But guild locking raids is such a bad design choice for fostering good communities. If you want to stay loyal to your friend group, it's very possible you have to forego raiding. Meanwhile, communities that do raid are actively pushed into toxicity by a limited number of slots. And we talked about Wizard101 and the guild slots. If you don't know, only a maximum of 60 accounts can actually join the guild, right? And I've always advocated for like more stuff, but 60 accounts, I don't know. We actually had some provisional members that I just made full-time members, considering that I'm done raiding in this guild, and I think everybody else is just done raiding in this guild in general. Most people will just leave and find another guild, but, you know, there's no space. So even if I did want to invite you to the guild, I can't. It's literally, it's 0. It says space for 0. Right? And there's like one person that has 2 accounts. I think there's another person that has 2 accounts. So yeah, again, it's just like, you know, you can figure that out yourself. It goes by account spaces. So you have to really make sure that you have the most dedicated of players in your guild. But honestly, I'm thinking of like maybe not starting over, but like maybe making this guild like more social rather than just raids. The only reason I was focused on raids in the beginning is because well, that's the only way to raid is if you join or make a guild, right? So, like, I don't know what else to do. And I don't go raiding anymore because I gave up on that. So, you know, might as well just turn this into, like, a social guild. You also can't kick that many people either. They added a cooldown for that, which I hated, man. I would just love to purge the whole guild list again. I love purging. But the reason I've done those purges was to kind of organize the people that actually want to go raiding, that are actually going to show up on time, that, you know, actually make time out of their schedule to go raiding, and they are going to commit to not only the time, but commit to their gear setups, make sure they are at the stat caps, make sure they have their spells, make sure they read the guide. And I feel like a lot of people come into raiding and expect, like, free loot, which isn't really the case. You really do have to, like, commit to learning, you know. And if that's not your cup of tea, or if you're not good with big groups such as 12 players, then I really don't recommend raiding for you, let alone guilds in general. I just do not recommend it. But anyway, going back to this thread, furthermore, it isolates experienced players from the rest of the community. The devs went on about trying to prevent that very thing from happening. Isn't that why gates get put on cooldown? Players were interacting with the wider community. Then you locked them out, you idiot. 3 years running, and the raid system is still a convoluted mess of bad choices, actively counteracting the reason other bad choices were implemented. I'm done giving actual feedback because too much effort to write a thesis on why insert obviously bad design is bad. Frankly, it's more fun to laugh at whatever nonsense the devs introduce/break in each update than play the game. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Dolphins fan. I'm going to be rooting for the Dolphins today, man. Prayers for Tua. I really do hope Tua is all right. Really nasty concussion injury. And I said that. I said that many times throughout all my videos. I've talked about guilds and raids. So, I don't know. And like I said in the beginning of this video, this is subjective. You're probably not even listening to me right now because you don't care of what I have to say. And I'm so happy for you. I am so good. Unsubscribe, leave a dislike, leave a nasty comment. I don't care. That shows that you're listening. That's good. I'm glad you're listening because some people have way better experiences in guilds and raids. And like I said, there are a lot of really good guilds out there that will be willing to accept you. You just have to, you know, send them your stats and stuff like that, or, you know, just let them know who you are. Just let you know that they might tax you on some Azoth. And that's what the one thing I did like is whenever we go raiding, I told everybody, you know, keep your Azoth. I really don't want your Azoth. Like, I can get the Azoth on my own. You can use that Azoth to craft some really cool stuff, such as cantrips, such as treasure cards, and even jewels. So really keep those Azoth, or if you don't want them, give it to your guild leader, and they can probably make a raid key for the next raid. But the fact that we haven't won that many raids in general, especially in the Polaris raid, and we're not getting any drops, it just kind of like shreds the Azoth that I make for the keys. I still have a bunch of keys in my one house for the Cabal raid, but I'm not gonna do that raid. So I don't know what to do with it. Like, do I just leave it up on my wall as a decoration? I guess so, but yeah, it kind of sucks when you think about it. I also want to go back to this list I made about the Ghost Recon raids. It's pretty much the same thing. Stat caps, constant spell changes, requires Lord of the Squall TC, which I think they banned that treasure card. 5-day cooldown for the raid gate, 3 hour, the 1.5 hour raid gate duration. I do like the 1.5 hour raid gate duration. I think that's way better than 3 hours because obviously my guild couldn't do 3 hours anymore because everybody has responsibilities, including me. But now it's gotten to the point where now we can't even raid overall. Like, literally, I'm done. I'm not making any more rosters. I'm actually done. Okay? I know it's like the common meme, like, oh, he'll come back in a week or two. No, I literally have no reason to actually, like, come back to raiding. Especially in this guild. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer for everyone. I think everybody played great. But, again, it's just like, you know, if people aren't really going to actually appear for the raid, or if they're going to be late, and it causes issues for other people that are there on time, especially for time zones such as Europe, Australia, etc., etc. So, you know, it's just like at that point, you're better off at finding a different guild that will actually raid at your appropriate time and your work schedule that works for you, right? I highly recommend that, because I think one of the main problems as a guild leader that I did is that I was trying to make everybody happy, in which case you cannot make everybody happy. Trust me, I have seen so many nasty DMs from other previous raiders and stuff like that through a lot of miscommunication and everything like that. Being a guild leader is stressful, right? It's very exhausting. I highly don't recommend it. If you want to make a guild, all you have to be is level 100. It used to be max level, but they changed that in one of the recent updates. But I really don't recommend it. And if you were to make your own freshly new guild island, you would have to unlock the islands via Azoth, and there's a lot of Azoth. So if you don't have a dedicated guild that's working on unlocking the islands, then you're not really going to have a fun time just sitting on this plot of dirt, you know? There were a ton, probably spent thousands and thousands of Azoth on raid keys and upgrading stuff. So, I don't know. But again, like I said in the beginning, it's all a subjective matter, right? The raid gear is pretty cool. You can always check it out at Gwen, which is the battle crafter. It's really cool, nice stats and stuff like that. Cool designs. Awesome badges too, really cool badges. I just wish I had that chance to really, like, you know, dedicate myself more to it, but I feel like I've kind of exhausted all my resources. So yeah, I'm just gonna let you guys ponder about that. I would really like to know your guys' thoughts on raids and guilds, because I've seen some of your comments kind of talking about raiding and guilding and how, you know, not a lot of people like it, but I really would love to know your thoughts about it. We probably have the same thoughts about it. It just doesn't seem like it's really worth the time and mental stress. It is a type of endgame content, so if you're ever bored on the game, or if you want more to do, I really do encourage you guys to check out a guild and check out, you know, raiding, whether it's for Aztec, Dragonspire, or Polaris. The Dragonspire raid is really good for accessibility purposes. The other two raids are kind of strict, so it's up to you just to figure it out for yourself. But yeah, until then, I guess that's it. I'm done. I really do. It sucks because I really do like raiding in general, but I just feel defeated. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll come back just like the wizhead I am, but I don't know. This time, it might be like a very long time before I come back to raids. Like, it would have to be a lot of changes or stuff just in general for me to come back. I think the problem is I just lost a lot of trust in people. I think that's a big problem with it. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. But until then, I will see you guys later. And like I said, if you want a guild invite just to goof off on this guild island, feel free. But like I said, it's at max capacity. So, I don't know what to do. Every time I remove somebody from the guild, somebody throws a hissy fit. So, yeah, you guys figure that out yourself. I wish I could, like, make admins in the guild. This could be another really good update. But, like, I wish I can kind of, like, put, like, admins in the guild. Like, people that are allowed to, like, kick other people out. Because I feel like the guild leader shouldn't be the only person that has to kick people out. You know, I feel like it should be a group effort. But, yep. I'll let you guys go. Everybody is a keymaster. Everybody is a recruiter. So do whatever you want. Everybody's a decorator. So destroy the island if you want. I really don't care anymore. But yeah, until then, I will see you guys later. Peace out.